Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Skylar, and I would like to have a case today. Don't be scared, it's just easy one. I will show you some numbers, and you should try to memorize it quickly, okay? It's not going to be difficult. Okay, that was not very difficult. So, how many people actually memorized it? Okay, most of us. We have a whole bunch of clever people here. Actually, that's myself. But the problem is this one. Try this one. Okay, how many people could memorize this? Raise your hand, please. Okay, thank you. No one has a perfect memory. The second one was not really easy to memorize quickly. Then what's the difference? This has something to do with short-term memory. When we take a look of something and try to memorize it, our short-term memory works. And usually the maximum capacity of short-term memory is about 7 digits. So today, I want to talk about human memory structure. First, I will go over the multi-store model of a human memory structure. It consists of 3 components. First, sensory memory, second, short-term memory, and third, long-term memory. And then, I want to talk about how we can improve ourselves, how we can try to remember faster, more, and for longer. Okay, let's start with sensory memory. Please take a look at the picture. And unless you have a photographic memory, you cannot draw it exactly the same without looking at the screen. When you take a look of something, what you have is only the vague image of outline, and that is the sensory memory. Sensory memory can be characterized by several factors. It has quite large capacity, but with extremely short duration of time of 0.5 seconds. So you can even remember quite a complex picture just by one glance. But the problem is you start to forget it in next to 0.5 seconds. And in psychological terms, psychologists say that when we forget something, they say the information decays. Also, sensory memory is something like buffer. Buffer is something you just store for a while to do further process. So, what you can do with sensory memory is get some information and store it for a while to do some further process. And then next, we have short-term memory to do something more. Unlike sensory memory, short-term memory has a limited capacity, usually 5 to 9 chunks, or in average 7 chunks. Chunk is also the psychological term of the minimum unit of the information. So chunk can be a digit, or it can be alphabet, or it can be even Hangul. And then next, unlike the sensory memory, it has quite a longer duration of time, about 20 to 30 seconds of duration. So, how many people still remember my cell phone number? The first number I show you. Okay. So, without some exception, usually we forget the short-term memory immediately within 1 minute. That's why we remember it, but right now we cannot remember the first number I showed you. Most importantly, short-term memory has an information. Sensory memory has only the data. For example, we see lines and dots and finally recognize it as a character. So if we take a look of this line, it is still a line, and still we'll say, well, there's an angle, but finally it is a number 4, and we recognize it as an information. It is no more than lines and dots. Last but not the least, it is long-term memory that most of us are interested in. Long-term memory differs from others by several factors. First of all, it has infinite capacity, and it has an extremely long duration of time. Or in other words, it hardly decays. The information hardly decays. So for example, the memories of your childhood, or how to ride your bicycle, or multiplication table you remembered in your elementary school. Those are examples of long-term memory, and you can remember a lot of information even for a long time, and those hardly decay. Also, it has interconnected data structure. I want to make a comparison with the library. When there is a new arrival to library, the library should try to put the books according to their categories. The similar thing happens when we have a new information. When we take a new information, we try to connect the information with something we already know, and those are in long-term memory. So in this way, we can make strong relationship between new information and the long-term memory information. Therefore, we can put them into the long-term memory. Okay. Finally, then, here's the question: how can we memorize faster, for longer, and more? As you can see from this curve, this is the forgetting curve. As you can see from the curve, we can see that we forget more than 70% of the information we learned within one day. So unfortunately, by tomorrow morning, you will forget most of what I'm talking to you right now. Also, this can explain why we messed up the exam after staying up all night, cramming for the test. We think we know the material midnight, then at the morning, there's no information. Also, we can take so then what you can do to cope with the forgetting curve? We can make reviews or rehearsal. I mean, we can make repetition. The green curve shows that we can effectively restore our information by proper reviewing. So maybe you can have 3 or 4 reviews, then you might can put the information to your long-term memory, so those information hardly decay, so you can remember it for a long time. We can also take advantage of mnemonics. Mnemonics is the techniques to remember something effectively. So try to remember BTK, LG, FT, DSR. Let's go. So we might want to take advantage of something we know, something stored in our long-term memory. So for example, kill, ought, kill, get, desire. Then we take only consonants, then we get the first string. So those kind of examples can be used to memorize something quickly, faster, or longer. Okay, I just want to summarize it, because since we learned how fast we forget everything. Long-term memory has a large capacity with extremely short duration of time, 0.5 seconds. And then, short-term memory has an information. It has limited capacity of 7 chunks, 7 digits or 7 alphabets, and it can contain information for 20 to 30 seconds. And then finally, long-term memory, it has infinite capacity with relatively long duration of time. So those information in long-term memory hardly decay. I think I will close it here, and I'm happy to take any questions at this point.
What about the age factor?
Age factor?
Yes.
Okay.
I find that as I get older, I find it harder to memorize things and to remember things.
Okay.
And to transfer information from my short term to my long term memory.
I think we can. So you mean how the age affects to the performance of the memory?
Yes, and perhaps how to remedy to this. Do you have any idea?
I think I can explain a little bit about why we get difficult to remember something when we get old. There are some theories about forgetting, some theories about decaying, about forgetting. Some people say it is just the time passed, so we just lost the information, or the others say that we fail to retrieve the information. It means that they have information in your brain, but the problem is there is no cue, there is no signal to draw the information. So, and for the second question, since I'm not vision, what I can suggest to you is that try to exercise regularly and eat a lot of healthy foods, so those can make your brain cells remedy better. That's what I can answer to you. Is there any other question?
Is calculate capacity related to memory?
I think that is closely related to the short-term memory because we know some people who can calculate without paper, like 3 or 4 digit things like that, and I believe they can store a lot of temporary numbers in their brain which are not really common in usual people. I think so-called Amsan in Korea.
And I also thought that calculate capacity is especially for old people, not without mix of age. It doesn't matter about the capacity of calculate something.
Sorry, I didn't get it.
Could you say louder?
About calculate capacity without mix of age. It doesn't matter about how to do that well or not. What do you think about it?
So I mean, does the age affect to our calculating?
No. Yeah.
So I didn't get. Can you?
Oh, sorry.
Do you understand the question? Can you
No, I
interpret
didn't
to
get
me?
it either. I'm sorry, Ellen.
I mean,
Okay.
the memorizing something is there are some age factors about memorizing something, right? So as getting older and older, then we usually forget really easily. But about the calculate capacity, it doesn't matter about age. I heard about there's no age factors.
About
So
calculating.
the processing capacity of information
So
and
people,
computing it as opposed to memorizing.
people usually treat old people as really bad memories or kind of thing. So
But they can do
calculate as
calculating
well as
as well as the young
doctors.
people. I think calculating ability might have something to do with other parts of the brain. I mean, what I'm basically dealing today is about data storing.
Yeah, the analytical or processing capacity is still there. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Oh, it's a good question. Let's stop. Are there any more questions, or should we stop? Okay.
Can you remember the first numbers?
First number. That's my second number.
This number.
Just numbers. I'm just curious about this.
He remembers because it's his own number.
That's my.
Why don't you just give him your phone number and see if you can remember it?
You know my second number.
How about the second one?
Yeah. That's my registration ID number backwards. I was expecting questions. Sorry. All right.
Okay.